Hello everyone, this is Lori from Grammy's Keepsakes, and I'm coming here today to give you a little update on the little book cover that we were working on. Well, I've got, lint on it. Okay. I've got signatures in it, and it's pretty much all ready to go, except I haven't done any ephemera at all yet. But what I wanted to show you how to do today is I made file folders for the anchor page of each of the signatures, and I decoupaged napkins onto them, and then I stitched all the way around the napkins. So that's what they look like. And I wanted this book to resemble the theme that I have on my front, which is wildflowers. And so that's why I chose the napkins that I did. And let me show you how I make those. And they've been around for quite a while, and I'm sure I am not the only one that's done it, but this is how I do it. And I usually like 5 signatures, and so I made 5 little file folders with tabs going down the side. So I'm just recycling manila file folders, and let's go ahead and start. These measure 8 inches, and you want your file folders to be whatever height your signatures are going to be. This particular bunch is going to be 8. The ones in my book were 8 1/4, but these are going to be 8. And so the first thing I want to do is one of the narrow ends. Let's put it in an envelope punch board and at 2 inches and punch. And now the edge, let me get my little pointer. I'm lining it up with this side of the opening. My paper lines up with that. I'm going to go ahead and give that a punch, making sure my top is against the board. And that's how you get that little opening that looks just like a file folder. And now what we're going to do is cut this off. And I'm going to bring in my portable cutter, and I'm going to bring that up. The little notch, I'm lining that up with the edge of the metal cutting bar. And then I'm just going to cut slowly up to that notch, and you can kind of feel when it cuts away. That's why I like to go nice and slow. So we have one. Let's put that aside, and we're going to do the exact same thing one more time for the bottom. So we're going to bring it to 2 and line up that edge. And bring in the cutter again. And line that notch up with the edge and cut. And it's still connected, so a little tiny bit. There it goes. And we're going to flip this one over So now we have a top and a bottom. Now the next thing I do to get the middle one is to measure and it's at 8. So my center of 8 is at 4. And I have 2-inch tabs, so that means I want to do 1 inch on this side of the 4 and 1 inch on this side. So that's where I'm going to punch my next one. So we're putting it in at 3 and at 5. And now we're going to cut that off. And lining up our notches again. And cut. Got the bottom one. Now we're going to flip it over and do this one. So now I've got top, bottom, and middle. Now we need to find out where these two go. So it's going to be a 2-inch tab, and it looks like about there we'll line it up. So I'm going to hold that, grab my other ruler, making sure I've got it where I want it to be. And measure this. Let me set it down. Move that. And I'm going to put it this way so that I can see what I'm doing. Let me get my 2-inch tab in there again. And I want to measure this. So it's 1 3/8 plus a 1/16. I measure crazy, right? But whatever works. So halfway between the 3/8 and the half. So we want halfway between 1 3/8 and a half, and then we're going to add 2 to that. So it's 3 3/8 plus a 1/16, which is halfway between, and there we have that. So let's go ahead and cut this off. Lining it up. Got rid of one. Okay, so let's see how that looks. And there we have it. Now we need to do it one more time for that little spot. So we've got halfway between 1 3/8 and 1 1/2, and halfway between 3 3/8 and 3 1/2. And line up the notches again. And flip it over and other side. And there we have all of our little file tabs all lined up. So now we need to fold them in half. So we're going to use our scoreboard, and we want to measure how much between our edge and our line. We have 11 1/4. This is the edge. Here, we'll move the other so it's easier to see. So this is what I'm measuring, is this right here. And so we're going to divide that in half. So that's 5 5/8. So we're going to score at 5 5/8 on each of our pieces. And we don't need our scoreboard anymore. Now we're going to go ahead and use the mountain and make it a valley and fold them in half. Oh. So there we have it. And now what you can do is decorate the file folder however you'd like. What I did was I decoupaged on it, and then after it was dry, I took my corner chomper and just cut a quarter inch notch at the bottom and the top of this one. And then I did stitch all the way around it. So thank you very much for watching, and have a creative day.